So who's Jordan Spieth?
Jordan Spieth, I think he's a PGA Tour player. I don't know.
Dude, come on, don't even go there. You know Jordan Spieth.
I do know Jordan
Like,
Spieth.
I don't even want to talk to you, Les, if you can't even say Jordan Spieth.
He doesn't win golf tournaments, though. So.
Oh, man. He is like the Dallas golden child right now.
He is. He's a nice kid, too. I've met him a couple of times. He's a good kid. He's young, and he is a kid. Because what happens if he does win? Like, he can't celebrate with champagne. He's got to celebrate. He's not even 21 yet. Like, what does he drink?
Milk.
I'm sure, though,
I know he's got an Australian coach, and he's based in Texas.
Yeah, and well, his coach is actually not a good friend of mine, but I've known his coach for a long time. So, but we don't want to talk about him. We don't want to talk about his coach. We want to talk about you, because you are the focus of this Friday Foursome, and it's a special occasion because this is our second Friday Foursome today, and the first Friday Foursome today came from a gentleman, Bill Healy, who is based in Bali, and now we're coming from which we think is the same time zone because it's still Saturday where you're calling from. But first off, where in the heck are you, and what time is it where you are?
Well, I'm in Southeast Asia, more specifically Malaysia, and we just ticked over 8 a.m. in the morning. So I set the alarm for about 5:40 to be with you guys.
Awesome. Well, it's 5 o'clock local time here, and I'm about ready to go have dinner whenever we're finished up. But for the next half an hour, we're going to talk about you. We've already got a lot of stuff in common. You just got back from the Woodlands, which is not too far from where Jason's from. We've got some junior golf to talk about. We're going to talk about AimPoint and why the heck Adam Scott holds up 2 and 3 fingers when he's trying to putt. But before we do that, I want to introduce Jason Boslow, who I didn't necessarily introduce this morning from Shop Junior Golf. Les Bailey is back with us, even though he was late this morning, from Pro Golf Now, and Steven Giuliano. And tell us who you are. You already told us where you are, what you do, and obviously you're not from Malaysia. It sounds like you might be from down under. So welcome to the Friday Foursome, Steven.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, and you did a good job pronouncing my last name there, Ricky, because
I was worried.
Even though I'm Australian, it's actually not an Australian surname; it's an Italian surname. So, both my parents were born in Italy, but I was obviously Australian-born. And you asked me why am I over in Malaysia? I spent about 15 years teaching in Australia, which was great, and created a good. I guess it was good, getting experience there. We ran some great programs, and a lot of young guys come over to Asia, I guess, when they just finished their traineeship, finished their time, and try and find their feet over here. I guess I was a little different. I tried to establish myself in Australia as much as possible, and felt like I sort of ticked as many boxes as I could over there, and it was if I was ever going to do it, it was time to do it. Mid-30s, no midlife crisis or anything like that. But I just felt the cool thing is back in Australia we have fairly close proximity to Asia. So we had many Korean students, many students from Malaysia come over, actually different parts of Southeast Asia. So created some good relationships, and there's a few opportunities come my way, and after being in Melbourne, in Australia for some time, it was kind of time to make the move.
Well, very cool. I do have to say this is I think, Jason, is this the first time we've done 2 Friday Foursomes on the same Friday? And I guarantee it's the first time we've done 2 that are internationally in the same day.
For sure, 2 international. I think we might have recorded 1 and done 1 live at one time, but this is definitely the first international doubleheader of our Google Hangout careers.
Ooh, I like it, our Google Hangout career. Well, so the first thing that I want to know is I like to hit greens. I do hit greens. I hit a lot of greens, but how can I hit more? And I feel like you've got a couple of tips and tricks to teach me how to hit more greens.
Well, that's a good question. You've either been reading my blog well, yeah, actually, interestingly enough, I wrote a blog late last year on Susan Pedersen and how to hit more greens in regulation. And one of the things I learned from her, and it's certainly not, I wouldn't say it's something that's new, but it's kind of nice and refreshing to hear sometimes from a tour player that led the greens in regulation last year. She was just under, I think, 74%. She basically aims more or less for the middle of the green with all her approach up. And being a good ball striker as she kind of works the ball in, left to right or right to left, depending on the pin placement. I think, for the the avid golfers out there, it's still a pretty good, pretty nice rule of thumb, not to fire at the flag sticks all the time, because when those pins are tucked away pretty tight.
I just want to hit it straight, so yeah, I'll aim for the middle of the green. Hope I get a member's bounce and try to worry about my putting from there. So we're going to talk about putting here a little bit too. But so do you work with her, or have you worked with her, or you just wrote the blog based off of what your experience with watching her play?
Yeah, she actually came down to Malaysia last year. Or actually, they have a tour event here every year at the end of the ladies' season called the Sign Derby, which is just around the corner actually from where I stay. So. She's a Nike girl, and so is Michelle Wee. So they do a little sort of corporate gig for the juniors a couple of days before the event starts. And being a Nike ambassador here in Southeast Asia, we get invited along. So it was good just to be a fly on the wall there, and she gave away a few tips and secrets to the juniors. Playing soccer on the golf course, it was pretty cool. So I got to film a little bit of that, and then did a little bit of research on and sort of figured out she had a pretty good year hitting greens and finished off winning a major. So yeah.
Well, and another, I don't know if you know this, but Tiger is also a Nike ambassador. So
somehow I knew he was going to get around to that.
Yeah, totally. So you said juniors, and I know
so
Jason.
Rory, by the way,
Yeah. Rory,
Yeah. And he's playing right now.
Whatever, yeah, whatever. I don't want to hear about Rory. I want to hear about Tiger and his bad back. Jason, I guarantee you got a question about junior golf somewhere in there.
I have a whole bunch of questions about junior golf, and first of all, I'd like to say good job on the website. I think you have one of the better websites that I have looked at while we've been doing these Google Hangouts. So,
don't tell everybody that.
Well, it's true. He's got a very well laid out website. It navigates very well. He's got some great videos. But let's talk junior golf first. So what is Asia doing differently that the United States is not doing, and why is the game exploding so much in the Asian market, and places like Adams Golf are closing corporate headquarters in the Dallas location?
I think in Asia, we're coming off a pretty low base as far as development. Aside from the more developed Asian region, which you could probably say Japan and Korea would certainly be more developed. In Southeast Asia, where I'm based, the main countries would be sort of Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia. Everything's just really starting out, so I think you'll find in the next 5 to 10 years there's still going to be a lot of development and a lot of emerging sort of juniors and certainly young college kids coming through. But safe to say that Korea and Japan and those developed countries are already sort of flying the flag, especially in Korea. And some of them maybe don't like to travel quite as much, but I think you'll find the education model here, certainly in Malaysia and Singapore, is the kids are encouraged to go off to college, when they're 18, 19, so they'll work on their games here pretty diligently till then, and then try and find a college position, and sort of that's their pathway to playing in the States and sort of playing on the world scale.
Okay.
So do you see, though, I feel like the LPGA should change its name to, like, the APGA, because it just seems like all of the girls, and not all, because, Michelle Wee has been playing fantastic, but Lexi's been playing well, and Stacey Lewis and that, but I feel like there's just, every other week it seems like there's an Asian LPGA Tour winner. Do you see that it's more focused on females in that region than it is to males, or can you maybe elaborate on why you think the LPGA is so heavily focused with Asian golfers?
Yeah, LPGA, there's a couple of reasons, and probably the main one is, you don't see as many of the Asian guys probably out, or you don't, certainly, compared to the females. In Korea, for example, they have the army service for the guys, which is 2 years, and that generally starts when they're 18. It's the same in Singapore. I'm not too sure about some of the others, but yeah, certainly Singapore and Korea, so the girls don't have to go through that. And interestingly enough, I was over in Korea just a few months back, and a good friend of mine who I've known for a long time, he's a Korean guy, he just had two daughters. He's just had 2 sons, and he said to me he was upset because he didn't have a daughter.
He wants an LPGA player.
They put all their efforts into the females over there. For whatever reason, the development in sport for the females is just so much bigger for the males. And I just think one of those reasons is that the males kind of get stopped in their prime when they're when they're going along and have an opportunity to perhaps turn pro. All of a sudden they've got to do Army service for 2 years, and at that particular point in their life, which is between that 18 to 22, it's pretty pivotal, I think.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that, and that's a good. Yeah. Sorry, Les. I'm still mad at you from this morning, but.
Well, you told me to go next.
I know I did. Well, step up then.
Well, I'm like Jason. I thought you had a very nice website. One of the terms on there that I was curious about and wanted to ask about was target-oriented practice.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
Well, I guess pretty much as it states, it's really getting away from the technical aspect of training, which we know is important, and just getting students into the mindset and sort of developing a little bit of a culture here of, where's the target, and trying to create, if you like, scoring games, competitive games, which are based around target practice. And really the whole idea is to get students not just to be hitting balls on the range, which we all know is, still a very common, I think it's still very common all over the world, especially here in Asia, and really just trying to switch the mentality over, get them to understand that there's different ways to practice, not only full swing, but obviously short game, putting, and also we get them to start to measure practice.
Yeah.
And this is, I think it's very common in more developed countries, but sometimes in Southeast Asia, the mentality is just hitting balls on the range and that's it. So getting more focused, pre-shot routine, getting more into tournament mode on the range, if you like.
Wow, yeah, that's certainly good input.
So here's my website. We keep talking about your website. You've got an ebook. You don't see that really pop up that often anymore. But tell me what's in the ebook, and just maybe discuss that a little bit more, and what I can expect out of the free ebook. By the way, it doesn't cost me anything to download, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, the ebook I had an idea to do an ebook quite a few years ago, and as a golf pro, we get so much information, and just wanted to do something a little bit different. So the ebook it's a 4-part series. It's completely non-technical. We decided that we'd give the first part away free, which basically just highlights different training techniques. So Les just mentioned there about target-orientated practice. Just talks a little bit about the difference between technique practice, if you like, versus target practice, and kind of how that's evolved over the years, and I guess how I came about that understanding. And then part 2 is on putting, part 3 is on short game, and part 4 is on long game. And the difference, I guess, with this ebook is I decided to do training videos. So for every scoring game that I've put into the ebook, there's a drill, which took us quite a while to do, but about 40+ training drills in nice high-def quality, which just kind of explains, how to do the drill. So we did on-course games, we did short game competitive drills, and we did putting competitive drills, and I did a scoring sheet for each, so the student can go look at the drill on the video. If they want, they can download the scoring sheets, and they can complete the drill, write down their score, and then sort of try and better it next time. So it's been, it was a pretty cool project. It took me a good year to complete last year, and we've had probably about 600 or 700 downloads and of the actual ebook, the paid ebook, and we've had over 1,000 of the free copy. So it's been good fun to do, and something a little different, and I'm kind of glad I got it out of the way now.
Yeah, that's really cool. Very cool.
Well, from a junior golf point of view, I'm very glad that I found your website, because there are so many good things on there. I have a very competitive 8-year-old golfer, and being able to look through your videos and your training things, there's a lot of things that I'm going to have to show him and share your website and things like that. But without giving the spoiler, I did spend a lot of time on your website. Where did you come up with a helicopter? There's got to be a story there.
There's a story there. The club I'm at, you could say it's a fairly exclusive club in Malaysia. It's probably in the top 2 or 3 in the country. So we have a lot of high-end members, and some of them kind of drop in on the helicopter for their tee times.
I was like, where do you come up with that, and how do you get that to film on video? That was the coolest golf training video I've seen in a long time, and I had to bring it up on here. So for anybody that's watching, you have to go to the website, and I will leave you to find it. But yeah, Who scores a helicopter to do a golf training video?
I mean, Jason, I don't know about you, but how do you get to the golf course? I take a helicopter.
Yeah, I drive. Thank you. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, Ricky hits his ride with Tiger, I'm sure.
Helicopters started landing the same time every week for about a few weeks in a row. So we thought, okay, we'll sort of tee this up and do a video this time.
Well, that was awesome. I thought it was cool. So definitely a unique video feature for sure. So all right, back to my question now. So what can a competitive 8-year-old, physical? How important is the physical part of the game right now, and developing those habits for a young son, a young child like mine?
Well, it's super important. I think the big difference is I'm assuming we're all in the 30+ age category.
Well,
I am.
less is just slightly over 30.
30+.
Times 2.
And I think the big difference is when we were growing up. I mean, I was a multi-sported kid.
Right.
It was football. It was cricket. It was I played 4 or 5 different sports, including golf. So the physical development kind of happened naturally to a certain extent. Now I think with TPI and some of the cool junior programs that are out there, there's just a lot less physical activities. Over here, a lot of the parents concentrate on one sport. So having a junior program that integrates the physical and the technical, obviously, but certainly the physical gives the students what they need, but they're probably not getting it sitting in front of iPads and computers and whatnot.
Good point.
Yeah, one of the questions I had is do you see the growth in Asia coming from China or from Southeast Asia? As far as
Well, China for sure. Yeah, I guess they have the resources probably above and beyond probably any country that's over here, and I think we'll find that they're probably going to expand and grow fastest out of any country, any region over here.
Did you say China? I didn't quite. You kind of broke up there. You did say China, right?
Yeah, I'll repeat that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I believe China's going to grow the quickest because they have the most resources. Yeah, and if it's not happening already, it's going to happen really quickly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Les, every time. Go.
Well, I had a little follow-on question here.
Ask it.
Now that the fact that Tiger's mother is from Thailand, how much influence does Tiger have in growing the sport of golf over in Southeast Asia?
It's a sort of tough question. He came out here for the first time 2 years ago, and actually was at the club that I was at. I only just moved over here, and it was huge. I mean, we had.
Sorry.
Yeah, we had people coming from all over Southeast Asia to come and view him, but no doubt Tiger's big. I think it's a little bit tough to grasp. I'm not over there in China. I haven't spent that much time, but I believe it's growing just because golf's growing. Parents believe that this is one of the key sports for the kids to get into. Maybe just from a financial standpoint, they feel like they can make it. On a global scale, certainly Tiger over the last 20-odd years has just had such a massive impact. And but you just got to look at the success that's happening in each individual country as well. Obviously, Korea's had huge success all the way back from sort of Siri Pak, who was the I think really the linchpin for growing the game over there, and everyone else has just followed. It really only takes one success story in each country, and the whole nation kind of follows from there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Ricky, you can go ahead.
I just want to make sure you're done.
I'm done for now, man.
Okay. So, make everything. That's the AimPoint motto, and I am a huge proponent of making more putts because I don't make as many putts as I feel like I should. John Graham, who has kind of become the point man here in the United States for AimPoint, even starting to now grow internationally. The guy doesn't teach anymore. He just teaches AimPoint. That's pretty much all he does. Jason Sutton has also kind of become a big advocate for it. Dennis Sales has started teaching it. And Adam Scott has been using the new phase, or the new trend, the little AimPoint Express. So One, explain your relationship with AimPoint and Mark Sweeney and what you do with it, and are you certified? And what is going to be the trend with AimPoint Express, and how does it differ from AimPoint itself?
Sure, I'll try and give you the long short story. I got interested in AimPoint about 4 years ago, and I mean the main reason I wanted to learn AimPoint was I was working with a young girl at the time who was just really struggling with her green reading, and it didn't matter what I told her, she just didn't seem to get it. So the first person I actually contacted was John Graham. I didn't know much about certification, or I jumped on a plane to Orlando and spent a couple of days with founder Mark Sweeney at the time and Jamie Donaldson, who was over there. He's the head guy in Europe. So actually I went through the certification process over there and eventually got fully certified when the guys came down to Australia. So I was the head guy in Australia at the time that I was there, which was about 2 years or so, and then kind of jumped over to, obviously when I moved to Asia, I became the main guy here in Asia. So I'm now the senior instructor, if you like, for AimPoint in Asia, and that kind of splits my time about 50-50 between coaching here in Malaysia and being on the road throughout Southeast Asia. So yeah, I'm definitely fully certified, and the evolution of AimPoint, which I'm sure you guys have kind of seen, the AIM chart, which Mark kind of developed off the back of the technology that was on the Golf Channel there, evolved into the AimPoint Express read. And the idea was we were trying to get juniors to be able to use AimPoint in a very simplified manner, and we started experimenting with sort of thumbs and fingers, and the guys came up with the AimPoint Express read. And you know, it's about 90+% accurate on the chart, which is pretty cool. There's a few tips and tricks that we give the better players, so it's a little bit more accurate. But as a basic class format, it's just really exploded. And yeah, over here in Asia, we're now certifying lots of instructors. We've got Mark Sweeney coming out here in about 2 weeks. We're on the road for about 12 or 14 days, and we're going to hit about 6 different regions. So it's getting pretty big. And
that's awesome. I haven't seen Mark in a long time, so tell him I said hello.
Well, it's obviously working well for Adam. I just read an article actually recently that Mark Brody, the guy that wrote Every Shot Counts, he was a big advocate of how much Adam's stats had improved, you know, in the last 6 months or so. Adam learned AimPoint off Mark at the US, just before the US Masters, and his strokes gained in putting, I believe, come down from about 115 to about maybe top 15 in the world. And one of the things he wrote in that article, you know, he believes that, you know, putts are missed through green reading about 40% of the time, you know, just through green reading error. So that was pretty big, and it kind of helps to promote what we do and understand the importance of green reading.
Well, I've not asked anyone that is an AimPoint certified instructor if this is kind of in my mind, I do the plumb bob, and I probably look like an idiot standing there with one eye closed, holding my putter up, but I do feel like it helps, and it helps a lot. Is there a little bit of the plumb bob in AimPoint Express in regards to how you read a putt to know how much it's going to break left to right or right to left?
There can be, yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So I kind of know AimPoint then, is what you're saying. I'm just kidding.
You've got about 5%, Ricky.
Awesome. Well, that's 5% more than I had before I asked that question. And Jason Sutton has agreed to teach me AimPoint Express. So hopefully, and he keeps wanting to do it over Google Plus Hangout, and I'm like, no, come visit me. Let's go to Oregano's, have some pizza, and you can teach me at a golf course. So now, Jason, you don't make very many putts because you cheat and use a long putter.
Oh, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
I guess I'll let you ask another question, even though you use a long putter.
Man, so first off, I heard you bring up Dennis Sales, and I got to give him props. His kids have been just tearing up the Dallas Metroplex lately. Dude, with all the tournaments that they're winning.
Where did he come from? Now all of a sudden he's coaching juniors, and they're everywhere. Awesome.
He is beginning to own the Dallas area in junior golf, so props to Dennis. He's obviously doing a good job. He is also AimPoint certified and teaches over in Euless, which is not far from me. So big junior program. Yeah, useless. Big junior program. But anyway, he's doing very well, so I do want to give him a shout out.
Awesome. And he is a guest. He is a secondary guest, or not secondary. He's the second time he's going to be on a Friday Foursome because he has changed jobs and is doing something completely different. And he's coming up in a few weeks, so we'll be able
Yes.
to chat AimPoint with him here in a few weeks.
Yes, yes. So I know that we're coming up to the end, so I'm good on questions, but I just want to say that thank you very much for your time tonight. It's been great actually having somebody that can talk junior golf, and you obviously have a passion for it and do it very well. If you were traveling the world coaching junior golfers, that is fantastic, and thank you very much for your time. So I'm ready to move on. I know we're coming to the end of our time.
Like the Back9. You're the
and we've got the Back9 going. So
I got a couple of good ones in there tonight too. Les, you get one more.
Oh, great. As a young...
Okay, well, our time's up tonight. Sorry, Les.
No, darn. Out of time all of a sudden. I'm going to allow him one more because I don't know why. Just go ahead.
As a youngster, who inspired you to get into the business of golf instruction?
The business. I had a mentor as I was sort of a trainee growing up. And he really inspired me. He used to come over to the States and work with Rick Smith. And yeah, I made a few trips over to the States, and that really got me into the sort of teaching side of it. And I guess my brain kind of went that way as well. So, yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so then a follow-up to that question, what tour pro got you into the game of golf? Well, actually, it doesn't have to be a tour pro at that point. Tiger's who got me into the game. Which,
yeah, it would have to be, I mean, way back in the day would be Greg Norman and Nick Faldo for me.
Funny story about Greg Norman, and I'm so proud of myself for thinking of this. So today at work, and Jason commented on this on Google+, today at work, it's Shark Week on the Discovery Channel, and Greg Norman is the great white shark. So I was like, okay, let's promote a trimming facility that is shark's tooth that Greg Norman designed. So I posted on Twitter, and I said, like, I tagged Greg in it and mentioned, hashtag Shark Week or whatever, and he retweeted it, and I was like, that's so great. So it pretty much made my day that it's Shark Week, and I was able to promote Shark's Tooth all on the same day. So that's fun.
I wrote a blog a few years back about Nick Faldo, and for love or money, I couldn't get him to retweet it, and I was devastated.
That's funny. Yeah. Okay, so I am out of questions too because we are out of time, but we've got one more segment called the Back9. It's 9 rapid-fire questions that you didn't know any of the questions that were coming, but this is just a fun, energetic way to end in the Friday Foursome. So are you ready for 9 rapid-fire questions?
Fire away.
All right, here we go. What is your favorite golf course? And you are not allowed to say the one that you work for. I like it. You have to think about it.
Kingston Heath in Melbourne.
Okay, that's a good one. Do you hate time zones as much as I do after all of the process of getting this Friday Foursome schedule?
Didn't realize how much until today.
Have you ever had a hole-in-one?
I've had one.
Nice. What is your handicap?
Oh, legitimate handicap. Right now it's probably about a 2 or a 3.
You must not be playing very much golf then. Jeez.
I'm not playing very much golf, no.
Do you prefer coffee or tea?
Tea.
We talked about the LPGA Tour. Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player?
That's going to stump me. Can I say my student, Stacey Keating?
Yes, you can. That counts. Make sure she sees this so she appreciates that she got a shout-out. Now, you're wearing a Nike hat, and I obviously would take it that you play Nike equipment, and I'm Tiger's biggest fan, so be very careful how you answer this question. Will Tiger break Jack's record?
I'm Tiger's second biggest fan, Ricky. He's going to finish a few short.
We should talk offline because I don't agree. Actually, I'm getting to the point that I do agree, but I don't want to admit that. But
I cannot believe you just said that on air. Holy, somebody needs I'm glad that this is recorded.
It is recorded, and I am. I'm not admitted that he's not going to, but based off of the way he's finished this year, it makes me really doubt that he's going to be able to pull it off. He's got one more season. And if he doesn't win at least one next year, I will come on and do a 5-minute
all right. You heard it here first, people.
if he goes back to Butch Harmon, he'll win another major.
He needs to go back to somebody that's not Sean Foley, as far as I'm concerned. But that's again another topic of conversation. What is your favorite golf movie?
My favorite golf movie would be I think Bagger Vance.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore's good. Hey, I just watched The Short Game this weekend, finally for the first time, and was blown away by that movie. That was awesome.
Well, it's not as good as Happy Gilmore. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
They're both pretty cool.
And what is next for Steven Giuliano?
Maybe we
Besides the full day of teaching.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's coming up. Really just keep developing the game in Asia. I've only just kind of found my feet over here. It's been a few years, so I'm looking forward to the next 5 years out here, and AimPoint's going to be a big part of it. We're developing that, and yeah, I think this has been a really good base, so we're going to be here and growing the game.
Well, that is awesome. Well, Les, thank you for doing this twice. It's late where you are. You need to go to bed. Jason, thank you for wherever you are, because you're not in your office. It's weird not seeing you in your office.
I actually have to go pick my kids up from the golf course. I dropped them over there before I made this call. Now
well, at least you dropped them off somewhere that I can appreciate at the golf course. And Steven, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. You are, I think, a record-breaking second in a row from the region and the time zone differences. So I will make sure that this gets posted and shared everywhere. Please, again, tell Mark when you see him next week that I said hello. I'll shoot you the YouTube link whenever this is finished. And as Jesus Martinez steals from a golf movie, make more birdies.